Hi, my name is Ibaka Mukwali, network instructor for MKNet Academy. We're going to start with part two of setting up GNS3. So just recall our viewers, the last time we stopped, we ended it with an issue where our DCP, we had a little issue with the DCP because we forgot some subnetting um, lessons. So we gave an IP to the Linux server, the same IP that the computer is supposed to pull, because we allowed the DHCP pool to start with .1 /24 subnetting, but we're supposed to start with .2. In other words, saying that we're telling the DHCP, hey, do not give .1 to anybody else because .1 is meant for this computer. So there was a conflict. That's why our GNS3 wasn't working. Now, I also disabled Windows Defender the last time we did. That could be another issue. I've come across issues like that where you have the same problem where your GNS3 server is not it's not looking green within your GNS3 software. You might have to disable and enable the VMNIC one or whatever VMNIC that you're using. You have to disable it and enable it so that way packets can start coming back. I showed you how to do the packets to check if packets are going back and forth. And also what you can do is we can disable your firewall, your Windows firewall. You can re-enable it later. You just have to disable it. Okay. All right. Now let's move on where we stopped. So when I restarted my computer, I just started GNS3 and it was able to recognize the 7.7.7.2 to be the VM server. So I'm just going to go and double click on GNS3. A couple of seconds. So it's going to try to communicate with the server. It starts the server automatically from our VM workstation, which is a VM machine. I'm going to pre-built one we did. Yep. It's going to start it. You don't have to do anything. You just have to double click on GNS3, and that's all. That's it. And it's going to do the work for you because we set it up. We engineered it. It's going to start. It's going to pull an IP, and it's going to start pulling the IP from how we set it up on the DSCP scope, the pool. We set it up for it to start with .2. So say it has a .2, and it's using port 80, which is HTTP. So we're going to minimize this. I'm going to X this out, and you can see our GNS3 is green here. It has to be green. I'm going to drag this thing a little bit so you can learn something. Now, you see, our GNS3 is using CPU power and is also using RAM. Right now, it's only using 0.0.7% of its CPU because there's nothing running in here. It's using just 4 point something RAM. Our computer itself, laptop, is using 5 point that of CPU and it's using this amount of RAM. So if I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, right, and have dedicated 12 gigabytes of that RAM to the GNS3 server, so that means that computer is using 56.7% of um of 4 gigabytes of RAM. So 16 minus 12 is what? 4, right? Is that correct? I'm not really good in arithmetic. I'm good in math, but not arithmetic. I don't know. My brain works in a kind of crazy way. I don't know how to count numbers, but that's why I use a calculator. All right. But anyways, so that's how it's supposed to set up. So that's how it's supposed to look. I'm gonna let me just show you a little bit, give a little bit of lecture about GNS3 how it works. So right here, these are the console. These are the computer, the softwares that we're gonna be running in this medium right here. They're gonna be showing here, and when they show green, that means they're on. If they show red, that means they're off, right? So I usually drag this to have enough space. I drag sometimes just to see what is going on there, what is on and off. But you can also see it here on the dashboard. As you can see, it says, please create a project. That means we haven't started any project yet. So I'm going to start, before I get there, let me start with a project first. So again, we can already create a project by here where it says open projects, or we can just create one. You can just click and it says, just like you do in Microsoft any program, right? You can also use your file here. So do the same thing. I'm just going to do that. So it came to that little tab, right? Now GNS3 also has a default folder that it creates. It goes under the name of the user of that computer. It creates it right there on the C drive, and it says project, and all the projects are there by name. So say if you're working on a Cisco project, a Cisco networking project, whatever it is going to create, you give it a name, and that's the name it's going to create as a project. So I'm going to just come here and say Cisco networking. How about that? Right? That's a project. See how the name changed here? I'm just going to click OK. So you see how it turned from gray to white. So that means you can play around with stuff right here. So just to scroll around, if I put my mouse over here, see how it says browse routers, browse switches, endpoint devices, security devices, and everything else. And then down here, something that's hiding because it's kind of hiding somewhere down there. Cable. That's how you add a link. That's how you connect one device to the other. Now, if I click here, I don't have anything. There's nothing. This is just default stuff, which is dummy stuff. Can't do anything because what we're doing here, we're doing intermediate to senior level of networking here. So you need to have stuff that act like real routers and switches that you unbox from a box. That's exactly what we're doing here. So there's nothing in here. So that's what we're going to add. This free class today is for us to be able to add these devices. Again, I have a link of the softwares, right? That you need. Let me open my softwares. I'm going to go to where I'm hiding my software somewhere here. Where am I hiding my stuff? Let me go to networking. Networking stuff. Where is it? I don't see it there. Oh, here. Okay, so Windows is taking me to a different place. Hopefully, I don't go to my private stuff, but nothing is private in life, pretty much because Google is, they're always searching your little things. I'm just kidding. I like to play a lot like that. Nothing's private for me. I'm fine. So just go networking stuff. That's why I have my stuff in here. Software, GNS3 images. There you go. So that's what these are the images that I'm going to be using. Now let me just explain something what the images look like and what they are. So the images most of the time they come in. If you look at on a type, it says QCOW. I'll say about 100%. This statement I'm going to make is about 100% true. Most of the time, the images that you use, virtual images that you use to create virtual CLI for different vendors, Cisco, Palo Alto, HP, Avaya, name them. They use QCOW. There's a file called QCOW, QCOW2. That's what they use. I've seen that with GNS3. I've seen that with even G and a lot of different vendors, and Cisco Viral, the same thing. So we're going to be using this file right here. Say startup. This is a file that is used to start up the virtual routers and switches and firewall. We're going to be using, this is a Cisco CSR 1000. It's a very powerful router that is used for edge routing. It's used for SD-WAN. It's used for MPLS. It has a lot of things. You can also use this router as a voice router, something known as SBC, Session Border Controller. We'll get onto that at the high level. And we're going to be using this one. This is a layer 2. So to have two layer 2 switches, iOS got them from somewhere. I'm going to tell you. But you're going to have them there for free. Because I got them for free, I'll give it for free. I'm not selling anything. It's not my product. I didn't create it. So if don't go sell it, just give it for free. Help people. Okay. All right. And then right here we'll have a router. This is another layer 3 router. It's not as powerful as this one, but it's right there. We'll have a Palo Alto because this another thing I'm gonna be focusing on Cisco switches, Cisco routers, Palo Alto firewall. I'm not going to be doing anything with Cisco ASA firewalls. Not because Cisco ASA firewalls are not that good. They are at the same level as Palo Alto, but I can bet you in the market that we are today, a lot of vendors are dealing with Palo Alto firewalls. You want to have a Palo Alto firewall because there are certifications that if you obtain the knowledge, the skills, and the certification, you can literally just have a job working as a network security, Palo Alto network security person, and have nothing to do with Cisco. That's why I'm focusing on Palo Alto because they're a very powerful company and they've done pretty well. So I'm going to focus on again Cisco switches, Cisco firewalls, Palo Alto, Cisco switches, Cisco routers, Palo Alto firewalls. All right, let's move on. So the Palo Alto firewall that I was going to be using is the version 10.10.10.0.0.0. Okay, that falls within the latest versions that have been used right now, that have been released right now. The operating system, they call them Pan OS. Those versions are at least, I think they have about 11 point something right now out there. So 10 is pretty good. All right, so let's start. Okay, so we have a project open, right? How do you start? Let's start with the router. So I'm going to go to router, and I'm going to go right here where it says preference, right? And click at preference. Actually, let me do it the other way. Go to template. So I'm reducing it because my laptop is smaller, but I think the graphics at the back end are bigger. So that's why I can see stuff at the end down there. So I gotta reduce it. All right, let's go. So again, I went to new template. I'm gonna leave it default. When trying to install a GNS3 appliance, recommended. See, that's what we need to do. What we have is a router. Let's go next. So that means there's something else we have to install. There's a registry have to update from GNS3. See, it says registry update. It hasn't updated the registry, so it recognizes. See, it's downloading appliances. GNS3 has some certain appliances that it embeds it within the software that recognizes these different images. It has not done that yet. So that's why we need to update that registry. Now it's communicating with GNS3 servers online to be able to download those appliances, and then it can make them compatible with the ones that we're trying to insert into our GNS3 environment. So just give it a couple of seconds. So again, as you can see, in networking, there's always the switches, there's the routers, there's the firewalls, and there are endpoint devices. That's why over here you see there's this little thing that looks like a TV. Those are endpoint devices that we're going to install. So appliances are up to date. Perfect. Now, did you notice that there's some little arrows that just appear here? So that gives us now different versions of routers that we can install, different versions of firewalls, Cisco, Palo Altos, and there are all kinds of firewalls. And it also gives us versions of switches that we can install. These are all software based, virtualization, software based, not the hardware. It's the same thing. The software and the hardware is what we have right here. We're going directly to the hardware, into the software. All right. So we don't have to go on eBay and buy all those switches and pile them in our garage. And that's why we have free stuff. Thank God for these people who did this. All right. So let's move. So we're doing a router. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to scroll down and look for there's a couple of Cisco routers, but see, we're going to install this. Let's start with this CSR. We have a CSR 1000. I'm going to click install. You're gonna have to reduce this because my thing is kind of big. Drag it here so you can see. Can you see? Yeah. All right. Again, by default, next. Chemo is just another program that actually helps to communicate this stuff with the appliance and the images that you're trying to install in there. So now you have to choose the exact image that we have. So let's look at the version. I'm going to go back to where I have my stuff. I keep closing it. Why do I keep doing that? Huh? I keep closing this thing. Nego stuff. Software. GNS3 images. Okay. Maybe I'm just going to pin this somewhere. How about that? Let's pin this. Does it pin? No? Okay, we'll just leave it open. That's fine. All right. So what we're looking for CSR 1000 V Universal 9.16.6.1. So let's go look for it. 16.6.1. 16.6. Here we go. This one. So rather than downloading it from the website, we already have it. So we're going to import from our computer. So we're going to go again and search for where we have it. There, there, and I'm going to choose this one. It's going to go through the process. Dun, 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 depending on how big it is. Yeah, sometimes these messages come up. Just say yes. You got to remember, while I'm doing all of this, I have my Windows firewall turned off because sometimes the Windows Defender, which is like a Windows firewall, is very powerful. It will block a lot of things that are running internally within your computer. So I turn it off until I'm done with my setup. Then I can turn it back on because when you go to the internet, you want to have that thing turned on, right? You don't want people to come in your laptop when you're on the internet. Right. So we have this running. So we're starting with the first one, which is this is Cisco one CSR. The service routers are very powerful. This is stuff that they use for internet service providers, on the edge side, for the customer side. They are very powerful. This thing is used for a lot of things that we're going to play around with, and you will see during the videos. So pay attention. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. All right. Some of these things, they have a lot of waiting going on, but as a network person, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to be able to have, that patience. You have to be able to wait. You have to be able to work under pressure because sometimes something might break and you're trying to fix it, and that's when you have everybody trying to give you all kinds of ideas in this world. I'm not saying don't listen to the ideas, but try the one you're thinking about first, and then you can get the ideas. Because if you try ideas, you're gonna go crazy. Anyway, I talk too much, I know, but all right, let's move on. So did you notice? You see the green thing that appeared? So we're gonna go back there, see how it says install, ready to install. We're gonna click on that little thing, touch it again, and then we're gonna hit the next. It's gonna say da 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 da. This was got from Viral. So again, just to be on the safe side, I bought this thing from Viral. Viral is the version of Cisco. It's a kind of GNS3 version of Cisco. You can pay for it for a 1 year program. That's how you can have a lot of these images also. So you can go over and pay for it. Sometimes they have discount during Black Friday. That's when I got it. I got it for like a year program, and I got all my iOSs, and some of them are old and they work just fine. And I use them and I give them for free for people who want to use them for practices. That's fine. And I think Cisco is also okay with that. All right, moving forward. If you have a company, don't use it because you're stealing. All right, yes. So that is ready. Finish. All right, so you can see our router is here. It's ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and right click on it, click on configure template so we can customize it to things that we want. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? I think this thing getting too big. It's gonna give us some issues here. Okay. So since we're having issues with this thing getting real big, what we're gonna do is I'm going to have to close GNS3 and start it again because the thing is too big. So I don't, where is it hiding? It went away. It just evaporated. What happened? Okay, let's close it like this. Task manager. I'm gonna kill the processor. Again, it's another troubleshooting, very powerful troubleshooting. If you have a program that doesn't want to close, like it's doing here, just go to right click. This is Windows 11. So Windows 11 will give you two options. I don't know what the task settings is for. Nobody uses that. But task manager is what you need. It shows you all the processes that are running in the back end of a computer. See the CPU, that's a memory, disk, and network. So I'm going to go to GNS3 and right click on it and end that task. And it's going to close it for me. Yep, it definitely will close. Gonna go back there. I'm just going to start GNS3 again. So again, I don't want to restart my computer because the video is going to stop. So we're just going to continue. We're going to continue minimizing it, making sure I don't have to. The thing doesn't have to run somewhere and disappear on us. All right. So let's wait a little bit. Okay. Oh, hold on. All right. So when you open it, see this little thing that says recent project, I don't have to go and open it over there. I just click over here, and my project is opened. If I click here, my router is there. So we were here trying to do this, and I think I clicked at the back and it disappeared. Okay, it did the same thing again. Okay, folks. So for that reason, I'm gonna have to pause the video and come back. So that way I can reduce my graphics at the back end, so we don't have to go through this. Okay. So again, for that reason, I'm gonna have to do a part 3 of this video. But the part 3 is not gonna be anything different. It's just gonna be how to add these images to GNS3. So I'm just gonna have to finish a process because I like to do things completely. I don't want to stop halfway because I've showed you how to do one. I'm gonna have to show you how to do everything, and we're actually going to boot those devices and see how to start. Then that's gonna be the end of the video. Okay. Catch you on the other end. Part 3 coming up.